Last words. I dig music. I'm on drugs!
We just talk about DC stuff on this channel, but we're changing it up a little bit. I like all movies, okay? Maybe something you don't know about me. I enjoy all movies, not just comic book ones. So let's just look at these tiers. So good it should be illegal. Most of these speak for themselves. Holy fiddlesticks, Batman. So yes, of course. Very good movies. Ah, the good stuff. These are movies. It was bad. I don't want to talk about it. And I regret all of my decisions. Not just the decision to watch whatever movie goes here, but all of life's decisions. It was that bad that it made me just reflect on every possible bad thing that I've done in life. So, usual suspects. I'll put this in the good stuff. This tier is probably going to be pretty full. I watch a lot of good stuff. I don't watch bad movies, okay? You're going to see that I do, but for now, I don't, okay? I don't remember much about this movie. He Who Shall Not Be Named as the most memorable part of this movie, which is kind of a bummer. Why does he have to be a terrible human being? I don't know, but I didn't understand the movie fully, to be honest with you. It's a movie that I already need to rewatch just so I can fully grasp everything that was going on. I tried to be smart, and that may have affected it in the long run. But yeah, other than He Who Shall Not Be Named, none of the performances were that great. Jarhead, a pretty decent war movie. I like war movies that are like this, that are more so about the characters than the actual war going on. But there is just some weird stuff. Some of the humor doesn't work with me. Jake Gyllenhaal's great. Eternals. I've already spoken on this a little bit. I do not enjoy Eternals. I think it's the worst MCU movie. It's way too long. The first hour of the movie could have easily been shortened. It's literally all set up and then the actual movie gets going. I get that you need some of that, but you definitely don't need an hour's worth of it. I'm gonna put this From Dusk Till Dawn in These Are Movies, because this is a movie. I'm not a huge fan of vampire movies, but just Quentin Tarantino being in this, for one, I enjoy that just because I love Quentin Tarantino. I like him more as a director than an actor, but George Clooney is very good in this. All I can say about this movie, though, is the first half and second half feel completely different from one another, but they still somehow make it work and it all flows together.
I don't want to hear anything about I don't believe in vampires, because I don't fucking believe in vampires. What I believe in my own two eyes, and what I saw is fucking vampires.
First Terminator. Putting in the good stuff. I really love the first half of this film. If it kept up, it'd probably go up here, but it didn't quite keep that pace for me. I do prefer T2, but some of the practical effects obviously don't hold up. But overall, still a very enjoyable movie. A lot of the action scenes are still very good.
I'll be back.
Oh, this is a movie about cocaine. It's a pretty depressing watch. Johnny Depp's performance in it is great, though. Spider-Man. What can I say that already hasn't been said? A classic in terms of superhero movies. Carry a lot of nostalgia with this film. Grew up with it.
Leave Spider-Man alone! You got a big gun guy trying to save a bunch of kids? Oh yeah, I got some for your ass! You mess with Spider, you mess with New York! You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us!
Truman Show. I should have seen this sooner. It's so good that it should be illegal. I love this movie. In a weird way, it kind of spoke to how I view life at times, especially growing up when I was a kid, because I have this thing they call depersonalization, which is where you yourself kind of feel fake and everything around you feels fake. You're just kind of questioning, is any of this real? It's kind of the whole are we living in a simulation or not thing, but you actually kind of believe it. You're like, is this real? Am I real? I don't know what's going on. Had that more so as a kid. I've kind of just learn to go with the flow from there. But yeah, it's Jim Carrey. This is his best performance that I've seen. One of his more serious movies, obviously. His first, like, real serious movie, I believe. And it really showcases how great he is as an actor. The Lost Boys. Earlier I said that, yes, holy fiddlesticks, Batman. Joel Schumacher did direct this. What a coincidence. But earlier I did say I didn't really enjoy vampire movies, but of the vampire movies I have seen, this is far and away my favorite. It's just a fun watch. It has that 80s vibe. It's very good. It's great storytelling. The writing is perfection. But yeah, their movie is not on the level of The Truman Show for me.
One thing about living in Santa Carla I never could stomach. All the damn vampires.
Florida Project. The good stuff. Not quite on this level for me, but I do really enjoy it. William Dafoe gives a great performance. If the mom, she's not my favorite, but she does her part. The actor does a pretty good job. This movie heavily relies on kids at times, which could be a mistake, but for what this movie is, the kids actually don't do a bad job. I don't have a problem with any of their performances. It's just kids being kids, which I kind of wish you saw that more often in movies, to be honest. There's a very uncomfortable scene about an act that I'm not going to say because it might get me demonetized, but if anyone's seen this movie, they probably know what I'm talking about. Very uncomfortable scene. Big eyes. Also putting this in the good stuff. So this was the last Tim Burton movie I watched. Soon I'll probably rank all the Tim Burton movies because I've seen all the ones he's directed. And this is way better than I expected it to be. I expected it to be a lower tier Burton movie, but I think it's about mid-tier. It's a good film. Amy Adams is great in it. Christopher Waltz. I was about to say Christopher Walken because that's just the first Christopher that comes in my mind that starts with a W. But Christopher Waltz, you know, the Nazi from Inglourious Bastards. Also, great performance in this. He's a total dick. He does what he needs to. He is the villain of the movie. Dread, before I spoil too much, I'm putting this in Holy Fiddlesticks Batman because this kind of reminds me of Venom Let There Be Carnage, but I think this is a better movie. It's just over so quickly, and there's so much action. I don't see how this isn't a movie that entertains you, but I love Carl Urban so much as an actor, in large part due to The Boys, but I felt that elevated the film up to this tier for me. Fantastic Mr. Fox. So good it should be illegal. First off, this cast is just pretty stacked. George Clooney, William Dafoe, Bill Murray, a ton of fantastic actors and actresses. Wes Anderson, of course, probably definitely one of the better directors for our generation. The animation is unique, the writing is really good, it's paced pretty well, it's a short movie, it's a quick watch. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it.
Being security, why are you wearing that badge? What is it? It's my job.
So I watched the entire show of Prison Break, and if I was rating the show, it would definitely be up here, but this, counting it as a movie, I think I have to put it down here because it kind of is just an extended episode of the show, and I think it's less interesting than a lot of the show is, especially season 1 and season 2 of the show, which this takes place after season... When does this take place? Season 4, I believe. But the main character of the movie is Sarah, and she's interesting. I just don't think she's as interesting as Michael and Link are to me. I still love her as a character. She's probably top 5 character in the show. I like all the Teabag stuff we get. Teabag is my favorite character from that show. So before I rant about Prison Break anymore, it's up here. I guess I can fuck around with this. I do enjoy it more than all this besides the Florida Project. Harry Potter, I'm just putting in all the good stuff. It's not really a movie, so I won't talk about it too much, but if you're a fan of Harry Potter, you'll probably enjoy this. It's just a look back. It's a fun reunion. Now, knock knock. I regret all my decisions. This is definitely one of the worst movies I've seen, potentially the worst movie I've ever seen. I don't know who this was made for. Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. These are movies. I didn't hate it. It's a bit too long in my opinion, but it's still a pretty well-made film. Steve Carell and Keira Knightley both give great performances. They make it bearable enough. It's just kind of, it's a long movie for the story they're telling, I think. That's probably just me. Nobody. Holy Fiddlesticks, Batman. Now, is this just a John Wick knockoff in a way? Is this just a John Wick-esque movie? Is this watered down John Wick? Sure, kinda, but also I think they make it different enough from the John Wick movies. Bob Odenkirk's character is completely different from Keanu Reeves. Nobody is completely different from John Wick as a character. The set pieces are different. Sure, John Wick. What just happened to my voice? John Wick. It looks better as a film. They probably had more money. I don't know the budget of these movies, but Nobody was still a great movie.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
The Player, okay. This movie, I'm putting it up here. This movie, I enjoy movies like Spider-Man more, but it's movies like this that make me love movies because it's kind of a mindfuck and I don't want to ruin anything. It's a movie about movies, so if that in itself interests you, I would highly recommend go watching it. Just read the synopsis, and if it interests you, watch it. Because I don't want to spoil anything. It's a great freaking movie. About to actually just skip ahead to the two I don't want to talk about because that list is empty. You can read the name Santa Jaws and the Velocipaster. I was fairly drunk / high while watching these, so please forgive me. Hall Pass. I'm not really a comedy guy, so if you are a comedy person, if you enjoy comedy, I prefer my comedy. I watch stand-up when I want to watch comedies because I know what comedians I find funny. Movies are a bit more tricky with me because I think it's just hard to make a good movie that is a comedy. That's probably why I prefer action comedy, say more movies like Deadpool, because there's a lot more than comedy going on in the film. So this is just a movie about them cheating on their wives for a week, or trying to cheat on their wives for a week, with Owen Wilson, and I don't remember who else is in it. But Phone Booth, another Joel Schumacher movie. It's pretty good. I enjoyed it. It's really good for what it is. What made this movie interesting to me is Colin Farrell's in the phone booth pretty much the whole movie, but what made it interesting was the cops. They were at the scene the whole time, and you actually got to see stuff that was going on outside the phone booth. It wasn't just the phone booth and that centralized location. It wasn't just him on the phone and the people at the phone booth. There was a lot more to it than that. It gets pretty emotional, pretty heavy. It's basically about this. The caller is targeting people who aren't very good people, but they have success in the world, and he believes they don't deserve that success. So, pretty intriguing plotline.
You got 5 seconds to get off the fucking phone. 5.
Batter up.
4.
I can stop him.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I'll put this in the good stuff. I think it is a bit too long, but David Fincher, I don't think the man, I haven't seen all his movies, but of all the ones I have seen, I've seen plenty. He has not made a bad film, from what I do know. Daniel Craig in this is great. I don't know the actress that plays the girl with the dragon tattoo, but she's also great. This movie gets pretty dark, and I just enjoy it. If it was a little shorter, it could probably go up here, but it's a very long movie. I don't think it needed to be that long. Arrival. I'll put this in the good stuff as well. Not really my taste. I'm not a sci-fi guy, but still an enjoyable movie. Jeremy Renner and Amy Adams are great in it. It's interesting enough. Just not really my cup of tea. Change up, as I said about comedies, I'm gonna put it in It Was Bad, just because this has a type of humor that doesn't hit with me. This is my list, so that's probably a bit too harsh, but that's what I felt after watching the movie. Jonah Hex, also gonna put this in It Was Bad. And honestly, I think this could actually go up if it was a longer movie, which is a weird thing to say. It just feels like a very uneventful movie. It's over quick. I don't even think any of the performances are that bad. I don't think it's quite as bad as its reputation is, but it is still a pretty bad movie. Knights of Badassdom. I feel like I have to put this down here, but I'll put it in these are movies. Not my cup of tea. So Peter Dinklage is in it though, so just for that part alone, I'll put it up here. Red Dragon. The good stuff, or should I put it in Holy Fiddlesticks, Batman? I'll put it in the good stuff. I don't think it's quite up here. It's not Silence of the Lambs. I love that movie. I think it's quite a bit better than Red Dragon, but Red Dragon is still a good continuation of the Silent story, the Hannibal Lecter saga. It's very weird, but Ed Norton gives a great performance. Ed Norton has always been one of those actors that I think is good, but he doesn't really, his name doesn't draw me in, you know? So when I see a good Ed Norton movie, I'm like, maybe I should watch more of his movies. Almost Famous. I love this movie. It's about music. A coming-of-age movie. Kind of the rock star lifestyle and what comes with that. It's a everything is not as it seems type movie, which I love that kind of stuff that it's real world based, but it's more fun. So it makes for a fun movie, but you connect to a lot of things on several different levels. Now, Days of Thunder, I'm also going to put this in These Are Movies. It's nothing special when it comes to Tom Cruise movies, in my opinion. Racing movies were never really my thing. It does have some good parts between like Tom Cruise and Robert Duvall specifically. Still not entirely my cup of tea, though. Better Watch Out. This is another one I can't really say much about. I'll say this. Just if you have any interest in watching this is a Christmas movie. Don't ask me why I watched it in January. I just did. If you have any interest in watching this, just read the synopsis, and if it seems intriguing to you, watch it. If you like a movie like The Babysitter, for example, on Netflix, I think you'll enjoy this. I enjoyed it enough. The Nice Guys. I'm also putting this in the good stuff. It's an action comedy. As I was saying about comedies earlier, typically they work better for me when other genres are intertwined and it's not just a straight comedy. So this, action comedy, works great. Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling are both good. And much like Ed Norton, Ryan Gosling is another one of those actors that his name has no draw to me, but he always gives a pretty good performance. Russell Crowe is definitely the highlight of this movie for me, though. It's a fun, entertaining watch.
Yeah, sad, isn't it?
That's really your job?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
So, how much would you charge to beat up my friend Janet?
What? How much you got?
30.
Malignant. Holy fiddlesticks, Batman. I fucking love this movie. I think this is, other than the two Conjuring movies, those are still my two favorite James Wan movies. But I think I prefer this over Insidious. I like it more than Aquaman. It's my third James Wan movie as of now. It was really enjoyable. It's more violence than it is scary. If you're someone that's on the edge of horror, like you're interested in horror, but you don't want to watch anything too scary, I think if you can handle blood, guts, and gore, this will be fine for you. There is something else in it that's pretty gross that I can't spoil, but great movie. Fatal Attraction. Put this in the good stuff. This is a very tense movie. If you want a tense watch with some good actors, good performances, Glenn Close, Michael Douglas, you can't really ask for a better lead two than that, better co-leads than that. It's such a fucked up movie. Like, if you... I don't want to spoil anything because it's one of those movies. Hitcher, also the good stuff. This is entirely about a hitchhiker that is a killer. You can read the synopsis and gather your thoughts from there. A lot of these movies I just don't want to spoil, so yeah, it's the good stuff. It was really good. It kept me entertained throughout. It's an action-packed thriller. A lot of car chases, obviously, with a hitchhiker, which I like car chases. I don't know why. They've always been entertaining to me.
What do you want?
I want you to stop me.
Phantom Menace. I'm really tempted to put this in It Was Bad, but the Darth Maul stuff makes me want to put it in These Are Movies. And I do prefer it over Eternals. So I'm going to put it in These Are Movies. First Star Wars movie I saw, though, if it was not for Darth Maul, it would not be this high. I will say that. Darth Maul is a badass. He is a great villain. He's always been the Star Wars character that has intrigued me the most So I guess that's part of the reason I chose this as my first Star Wars movie to watch, because Darth Maul is in it. But he is not in too much of it, sadly. And anyone that's seen it knows. The good stuff. Married to the Mob. Michelle Pfeiffer's great in this. It's a pretty funny movie. Fun watch. Not much more I can say on that. I don't want to spoil too much. Saving Private Ryan. This might be... A lot of people are probably expecting it to be up here somewhere, but not. I just think it's the good stuff. You know, it's a good movie. I think it is a little too long. Matt Damon, Tom Hanks, they're great in it. But as I said earlier, I think I do prefer Jarhead over this. Maybe not, because a lot of the comedy in Jarhead does not hit for me. But I like movies that focus more on the characters than like the actual war part for some reason. That I prefer Full Metal Jacket and Hacksaw Ridge. I feel like those are two good examples. They blend the character development and progression with the war stuff. It's not just a lot of action, which this does as well, but I don't know. I didn't enjoy it as much as most people did, and we'll end with that. Runner. I love Ben Affleck. Only reason I watched this was for Ben Affleck. It didn't sound terrible. It is pretty bad. It's a very boring movie. I wouldn't recommend you watch it, honestly. So, yeah, another Ben Affleck movie, The Tender Bar. The good stuff. I'll just go ahead and put Lost City of Z up here too. The good stuff. So, The Tender Bar. It's a very good movie. I enjoyed it. Another coming-of-age film, much like Almost Famous. Not on that level. This is not my favorite Ben Affleck movie or anything. But I really do like the format of this movie and just how it takes us through this kid's life and how big of a part Ben Affleck has been in his life. And the start point to the end point is very satisfactory to me. Lost City of Z. I enjoyed this movie enough. It's a expedition type movie. Robert Pattinson's in it. The idea of trust is kind of also a big element in this movie because of some things that happen later on during the expedition. One of their so-called colleagues turns on them, and I will not say anything else for anyone who has not seen it. But I think especially the first half of this movie is entertaining enough, and I think the second half it's still pretty good. It's got some high highs, but there is also some dull stuff in there, so that's why I can't put it any higher. So as always, I reordered this to more encapsulate my actual ranking of this. Almost Famous, my favorite. Knock Knock, far and away my least favorite of all these. Don't watch this movie if you don't have to. I really don't recommend it. So if you have any thoughts on these movies, let me know down in the comments below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this at all. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. I will see you guys next time.
Tell me what's happening!
Well, you're having a nervous breakdown. That's what's happening.
You're part of this, aren't you?
How am I part of this? You'll see.